in the year 8 after the Ba'ath of the Prophet, so we're talking towards the end of this boycott movement, while the Muslims were still boycotted in the valley of Abu Talib, the miraculous event of the splitting of the moon occurred. Many narrations indicate that during the 8th year of the Ba'ath, members of the Quraysh, they asked the Prophet, they asked him a question. They told him, look, this is continuing for a while. Show us a grand sign that you are a messenger of God and that you're on the right path. Show us a sign. We want to see it. The Prophet ﷺ prayed to Allah for a sign. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala split the moon in half. They actually saw visibly with their eyes the moon split in half, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sealed back the moon. When they saw that, and they realized the Prophet is now saying the truth and he's achieved victory by responding to their claim, they accused him of what? Sorcery. Oh, this was magic. This was magic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals this verse in the Holy Quran, اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. The hour has drawn near and the moon has been split. وإن يروا آية يعرضوا ويقولوا سحر مستمر. And when they see a sign of God, they turn their faces and they say, oh, this is just continuous sorcery. So they rejected this event from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One narration states that when they saw the moon split, initially they thought maybe this is some sort of magic which plays with your vision, right? It's like an optical illusion. They're like, let's wait for other travelers to come from other cities. Muhammad can put a spell on us, but his spell can't extend to other cities. So let's wait for other travelers to come back. Let's ask them, if they really did see the moon split. So when those travelers came, they asked them, did you see anything unusual on so-and-so night? They're like, yes, we saw the moon split. So they now knew the Prophet was telling the truth, yet they accused them of sorcery because they did not want to accept the truth. Now this event is so widely narrated in our hadith books and books of history, such that according to the Sunni methodology in hadith, it's a mutawatir narration. It's a hadith that is beyond any doubt that the Prophet ﷺ, in his lifetime, in the 8th year, the moon was split. In our hadiths, we the Shia, we can't say it's mutawatir, so widely circulated such that it's impossible for them to fabricate it. But it's also so widely narrated in our books of hadith, which gives us confidence that this did happen. So it's one of the miracles of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now there's one objection over here. If you remember, we talked about the pagans trying to compromise with the Prophet. Remember, they asked the Prophet to do, ridiculous things. If you're really a prophet, then have a river flow here in Mecca. Or erect a ladder and go into the skies. Remember? And the Prophet told them, look, I'm a messenger of God. I'm not going to do what your desires dictate. How come in this incident the Prophet did fulfill their request when they asked him to split the moon? Why? A number of reasons. Number one, the Prophet ﷺ, he wants them to see signs, of course. But remember, he wants to demonstrate to them that I am not the one who decides what sign is shown to you. I'm just a messenger. That's very powerful because, look, when people are challenging you and they want to kill you and they ask you for proof that you're right, if you can show them a sign, who wouldn't? Obviously you would, to defend yourself and to show that you are up to the challenge. The Prophet ﷺ, many times they would ask him, he would tell them, look, I don't have permission from God. I'm just a messenger. Sometimes Allah gives me a permission, I'll show you. So he was constantly showing them that this was not out of his choice. This is not his religion. This is God deciding when a sign is visible, when they don't deserve to see a sign. So that's why sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would, accept their challenge and he would show them a sign. And many times he wouldn't. Just to show that the Prophet is just a messenger. Allah is the one who's calling the shots. That's number one. Number two, Remember, in the Shib of Abi Talib, things got so bad for Muslims. You could imagine those Muslims maybe shaking. People stopped joining the religion of Islam because now you've contained the Bani Hashim and the Muslims in a valley. So maybe it required that the Prophet shows them a grand sign. Otherwise, maybe Islam would have, been annihilated by these pagans. You needed a powerful sign to show them. And when some of them saw that sign, while many of them rejected, but there were some whose hearts were strengthened. Yes.
Did anybody die because of this boycott?
Yes, we have people who died there, especially children. There are children who starved to death in that boycott, absolutely. There were a number of people who died. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does accept that challenge and He shows the splitting of the moon. Another objection is, wait a minute, if this event did really happen, then it must have been a global event. How come like the scientists in the Roman Empire who had telescopes at the time, how come this was not documented? What's the reason? First of all, remember, back then, you did not have this global world village where people were in communication with each other and they could easily narrate these events. That's number one. Number two, the narrations indicate the splitting of the moon happened after midnight. Just as the moon had risen. Now, if you go to the Roman Empire at the time, the moon had not risen yet. So probably it was not in their horizon yet for them to see this. But if you go east to India, there are accounts, even there are manuscripts, by the way, that have survived in history, in which they saw the splitting of the moon in India. So for example, to give you one account of those who were in India, Dr. Zaghlul, who's a scientist, he cites an Indian historical manuscript. This is contained in the India Office Library in London, manuscript number 2807/152-173. This is the number of the document in that library. What does it say? It says that this incident was observed by the king of Malabar in Chakrawati Farmis. I don't know exactly where that is in India. Are you familiar with where that would be? So basically, and that was the starting point for Islam spreading in India. When the king saw this event, and he had heard that a prophet has emerged in Arabia, and he's making this claim, he's like, this prophet is truthful. So he embraced Islam, the king of that regional area, and his people embraced the religion of Islam. And there are historical clues that indicate Islam started in India with this incident. So if you go further east, there are some reports of them seeing the moon split. Yes, if you go west, the moon had not risen yet. So maybe that's why, in Rome, they did not observe this incident. Yes.
Chinese accounts or Japanese?
Nothing has survived history. Remember, sometimes you could have a cloudy horizon. And our ahadith, by the way, indicate it did not last for long. It was just a few minutes. And especially if it's at midnight. Remember, back then people were asleep. I mean, how many people do you find? Maybe just isolated travelers. And who's going to believe them? Who's going to? Maybe this was an illusion.
Plus the moon sets very quick.
Exactly. The moon also sets quite quickly. And the splitting did not take long. Now scientifically, is there anything to say about the splitting of the moon? There is a lot of scientific discussion on the splitting of the moon. And there are clues that there is a big rift, a 300-kilometer rift in the moon, which some scientists, especially Muslim scientists, upon examining that, they believe this was actually the place where the moon was split from. So there are signs, geological signs, on the surface of the moon, which reveal there may have been a split. Today, NASA has confirmed there's a 300-kilometer big, huge rift in the moon. And they can't explain it. What geological factors actually led to that. The Apollo mission photographs of the Rima Arideus, however you pronounce that, it revealed that there was actually a 300-kilometer rift, and we have actually photos of that. You could see it online. There is a rift. Now, NASA, of course, is not going to confirm that this is a miracle of the Prophet, but, I don't know how they explain that rift, but they don't have a plausible explanation as to what geological factors could have, caused that rift. Yes.
So that rift is not geographically local on the moon, is it? Or is it on the full sphere of the moon?
Well, 300 kilometers of it is very visible to us.
Is the 300 kilometers like width?
It's pretty wide, yes. No. This is the length of it. The width of it, you can check. I think it's about, maybe it goes in some areas 9 kilometers deep. So in any case, we can't say for certain that this rift is due to that split. However, it's an indication. It's an unexplainable rift.
I remember at University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, they were making the case, a 4-month course about Prophet Muhammad and Islam. And they were basically saying the Prophet had no miracles. And then I mentioned this to them, and they denied it. But
they dismissed it?
Yeah, and I showed them Sunni scriptures, and I showed them Shia scriptures. Because I was telling them how it shows the greatness of the Prophet. Like, if Imam Ali split the door, Musa split the sea, the Prophet split the moon. And they just rejected it.
They were Muslims who rejected it?
No, it was a German gay historian teacher guy.
Well, that explains it all. In any case, we have in our history, the splitting of the moon. It's well documented. Maybe one day, modern science will actually discover a full splitting of the moon that has happened before.